Welcome to the 5% Club podcast, the space where ambitious leaders go to master their careers and their lives. I'm Shayla King, a former C-suite executive turned performance and happiness coach. And this is the podcast for leaders who want it all. The promotions, the paychecks, and luxurious amounts of time for what matters most. Each week, I'll teach you how to work less, make more, and design a life you love. Let's go. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the 5% Club podcast. I'm Shayla King, your favorite career and life coach. And today we are talking about having an epic 2025. Y'all, we are officially halfway through the year. I'm recording this in June and it will play right after July starts. So it is time for us to reflect back and say, am I getting what I want out of this year? Am I getting what I want out of my career? Am I getting what I want out of my personal life? So that's what we're going to be honing in on today. And if you notice the background's different, I am recording this from beautiful Cancun, Mexico, where I have been for the past 2 weeks. I did 1 week where I coached clients and was going through IVF. And I did the second week going through IVF and spending some luxurious time with my family. And so part of what we talk about in the 5% Club is having that luxurious amount of time for the things that matter most. And that does not happen when you let life happen to you. That happens when you decide what you want out of life and you make an intentional plan to get it. And that's what we're going to go through today. So we're officially halfway through the year, and most people fall into reaction mode. Even if you had great, glorious plans at the beginning of the year, life starts lifing, and it's just like we stay busy with even keeping the doors open of our business, of keeping the little humans in our life alive, right? And so I just want to remind you all that we can take control of our lives. We can intentionally design them to be whatever we want them to be. And then we need systems in place to help us actually live that out. All right. So before we jump in, a quick note. At this point in time, enrollment for the Performance and Happiness Lab is now closed. I know I've still had some people reaching out. What you can do now is to head over to ShaylaMKing.com and get on the wait list. That way, when our next cohort opens, you'll be able to be first in line for that. It is my signature program, the best way to start your work with me, where you will go through 3 months of training on results, relationships, and rituals. But enrollment is now closed. So sorry, but you're out for this time, but you can get on the wait list so that you can be first in line next time. Okay? So let's jump in. I'm going to share more about my epic year retreat at the end of the episode as well. So if you were part of that last year, you know how life transforming this is. What I do is I help you actually set up your epic year and give you tools and systems to be able to make it come true. So for everyone who is part of that, you know what this work is, and I know you're having an amazing life, and I've been getting updates from a lot of you. But if you haven't, don't worry. I'm going to give you some tips in this episode to where you can still make the rest of this year amazing. Okay? So first, we're halfway through 2025. I want you to ask yourself, has it met your expectations? Is it good? Is it great? Or did it feel epic? Right? One of the things that we have around here is that we are grateful and we want more. So much in life, we're told to settle for a good enough life, that we should be grateful because we make more than the average person, or, think about how much different it is from the childhood that you had, that your children get. And like, why can't you ever just be grateful or happy enough? That saying is said to us to keep us small. Maybe not intentionally, right? But it's from the point of view of someone who thinks that there's something wrong with dreaming, that thinks there is something wrong with fully developing your skill set and becoming what you're capable of. There is nothing wrong with that ambition. We are put on this earth and we have a purpose to be able to add value to others. And when we are willing to actually go for it and blow our own damn mind with what's possible, that is a life meaningful because it has contribution, right? So if you get those things said to you, whether subtly or directly, just be grateful. Why can't you slow down? Why does it always have to be something else, something new? Because I believe God put that inside of us, that internal desire to want more, to be more, to do more. We have that deep in our soul. So whether it's God or you believe in something else, there is a reason that humans are designed for that. And our life can get sad and feel really like it's not full of meaning when we don't find an outlet to be able to truly develop ourselves in that way, right? So some of this is about having meaning and contribution in our work. Some of this is about having meaning and contribution in our friendships, as a mom, as a dad, as a spouse. And some of it is around feeling freaking alive, right? Like having an epic life where you are excited to wake up in the morning, where you have things to look forward to. And there's psychology behind that. There is neuroscience behind the anticipation of good things happening. And so when we create our epic years, what we do is we plan out these activities ahead of time. And we have epic memories that we're going to make. We have epic goals that we're going to do. And the funnest part of them all is epic adventures. I think I just did an Oprah voice. You get one, you get one. Anyways, but these epic adventures are things that light our soul on fire, that get us excited, that are new ways of experiencing this world. And they can be different for everyone. I'll take you through what my list is. But what I want you to have is I want you to know what those things are that light you up, that get you excited, that when work is hard and parenting is hard, that you're like, yes, but next month we're going to X. And it could be, some big cool vacation you've never been on, or it could be something unique and memorable that doesn't have to cost a lot. It can be all over the gamut. But when have you slowed down to intentionally design an epic life? That's what we want to do here, right? Instead of just being overwhelmed, busy, reactive, and in survival mode. What we do at the retreat is we slow down enough to be able to say, no, literally, if I could make a bucket list of everything that would be amazing, that I would love to do in my life, what is on that? What does an epic year look like for me? And so most people, they spend July through December trying to recover from the first half of the year, right? It's like, oh, it's summertime, so now it's a new form of busy for parents, right? It's just a different piece of it. Maybe this is when you throw in vacations, but it's also when you come back to a full inbox. And it's just almost like you're pushing to even have the fun in your life, right? Not like it's designed with that luxurious amount of time for each area of your life. Right now, I really think of my life in thirds. So I have 1/3 of my life that is devoted to my work. I have 1/3 of my life that is devoted to parenting. And I have 1/3 of my life that is devoted to myself. When I say myself, that includes going to the gym and self-care. It also includes spending time with my husband and my friends to really fulfill my cup. And I make sure that I have luxurious amounts of time for all 3 of those sectors. So let's talk about what the 5% do differently. So they invest in themselves. They don't wait for the right time. They create the right systems. They don't hustle harder. They lead smarter. They stop letting life and work happen to them, and they start taking ownership of their time and energy and future. And you can do this really simply by just saying, what is 3 things that I want to do for fun the rest of the year? And I want you to just write down 3 random things. You can use ChatGPT. We do that as part of our retreat, and ask and say, here's the kind of things that I'm interested in. Here's some of the things I've done in the past that I enjoyed or didn't enjoy. Help me make a list of 30 ideas of things that I could do locally or travel, depending on what your budget is and what you want to do. Help me create a list of 30 of those things and really get the juices flowing and come up with this big list and big ideas, right? And then I want you to just choose 3 of them. That is your evolve work for the week. Choose 3 of those. And then what you're going to do is actually plan it into your diary or calendar. You are going to take those adventures and say, what needs to happen to make this happen? For some of my clients, they had to, figure out pet sitting or house sitting. They had to figure out childcare. They had to, budget to be able to afford the thing. They had to take the time off of work, figure out what it is that needs to be done, and go ahead and get it on the calendar now and do those lead measures that accomplish the goal. Because your life matters and doing epic fun shit matters. Otherwise, why are we doing this? So many of us are at a point in our career that is higher than we ever imagined we'd go. And yet all we're doing is looking up and saying, well, what's next? How do I get there? I got to stay in the grind. I got to keep going. I'll just, it's grueling right now, but I'll keep going. And one day it'll pay off. You guys, I was 39 years old when a freak medical accident put me on life support, fully in a coma, where they said the only way I'd survive is through prayers. And thank the Lord, prayers worked, and I am back. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to talk again. I know that tomorrow is not promised. And because of that, we're not going to wait till we get to some arbitrary position on the corporate ladder before we start having an epic life. The time is now, you deserve it now, and you can intentionally incorporate these things in without it derailing your career and your aspirations either. Right? This isn't, we're going to go do this fun stuff and give up on our dreams and our goals. No. There is luxurious amounts of time for both. Once you decide what you want for fun, what you want in your career, and then just a critical few things that actually matter in getting there. It's that essentialism and that discernment of what really matters. So what would make the rest of your year fun and epic? Go through that list of 30 with Chatty. That's what I call my Chat GPT. And then narrow it down to 3 so that you have those. All right, let me share some of mine. I get asked about this a lot, and I do share on LinkedIn. That's my primary platform that you'll find me on. I do share on LinkedIn after some of these activities happen, but I'm going to tell you about my list in progress so far. And this year, I set the intention to make 2025 an epic year, not just in business, but in how I feel, how I live, and what I experience. So let me go through my list with you. Let me pull it up. Okay, so epic adventures. These are bucket list moments, fun experiences, and playful plans to light me up. Then we have epic memories. These are like sentimental milestones with my family that I want to soak up and remember forever. And then epic goals, big moves that stretch me professionally and personally. So here's my epic 2025 list. I wanted to do a self-defense class. Now this is important to me. Emotionally, based on some stuff that happened in my past, and it was something that I had put off because I was a little bit afraid of it. And so I did the self-defense class in January, and it was hosted by one of my friends at her amazing front yard bar. And it's like a really cool family atmosphere. I probably talked about it before in here. I literally love front yard. Anyways, but we did the self-defense class there, and I got to bring my daughters, and that was amazing. I went on a New York City girls trip for my friend's 50th birthday, and we got to see a couple of shows. We got to go eat all the amazing food. We walked through Central Park. It was everything that you'd hope a New York trip would be. Did a camping trip with my daughter. So it was like a yoga and horseback riding mom and daughter weekend, and it was an amazing retreat. And we got to, one of the coolest things we got to do there is we got to paint horses, like literally with your hands painting a horse. And it's supposed to help you connect to the animal as well. And like your heart rates end up connecting, and it slows you down and helps you be in the moment. And we learned some other yoga breathing techniques and went through the different limbs of yoga and reminded ourselves of how we should be in charge of our bodies and our thoughts. And there's a really cool one in there that talks about making sure you're not giving up yourself to something that does not empower you, to something that is not fulfilling back to you. And so one of the ideas is that you watch your own energy and where it's going, and you're protective of that energy. And I thought that was such a great lesson for those of us working parents in business, right? We deserve to watch where our energy goes. So that was just an amazing opportunity with my oldest daughter. And then I went to the Mac, Jack, and McConaughey event. That was a lot of fun. There was one day that we did a fashion show with Camilla McConaughey, Matthew's wife, and got to get all dressed up, and I love that kind of thing. And then the next day was a singer-songwriter performance that we got to go to, and that was just so fun. And you get to hear, some of the singer-songwriters that do some of the biggest songs you've ever heard of. And we had some amazing headliners as well. And I had never heard him before, but we had Willie Nelson's son played, and he's an amazing musician. And I never knew of him before. His name is Lucas Nelson. So if you haven't heard of him, it was really fun. And one of his songs just completely brought me to tears. It was called, I'm going to cry thinking about it right now. It was called God Ain't Done With You Yet. And when I was in my coma, I literally heard God tell me that he wasn't done with me yet, that I had more people to help. This is me trying not to cry. So anyways, I bawled my eyes out at the concert, and it was just an amazing experience because I truly know I'm put on this earth to help people live a bigger, bolder life, to let go of shame, to not have unnecessary suffering, because life is still going to happen and bad shit's going to happen to us. But when we can control our minds, we don't have to allow unnecessary suffering to happen. And I truly believe that helping people live out their ambition, love their whole life, and be like intimate, amazing parents is my calling. And that's why I do what I do. So that was really cool to be able to hear him there and see that. And then just this week, we were doing our vacation with the kids, which was on my list as well. Well, this will be airing right after we do our 4th of July celebration together. And coming up, we've got a lot of fun things. So ACL is Austin City Limits. It's like a 3-day concert with a ton of amazing headliners. This year, we've got Sabrina Carpenter. Last year, we got to see Queen Irvi, who I love, if you don't know. We got to see Benson Boone last year. I don't know that he's coming back this year. But there's just amazing. It's a huge variety of music, and we had so much fun last year, so we booked right away this year for ACL. So that's coming up. We're going to I always do a Halloween party with a charcuterie board where it's like a giant skeleton on the table. That's fun for me. We're going to take the kids Christmas ice skating. We are getting ready to drop off our son at Baylor. And I've always wanted to go see the Waco shops, if you guys know Magnolia and Chip and Joanna Gaines. And so I'm sure she's going to be my bestie. Hi, Joanna. We just haven't met yet. So need to set that up. And so I have the Waco shop and the Baylor visit in there as one of my epic items for this year. I have visiting family in Kansas. We already had, I missed this, the Lake Travis Education Foundation event. It's just a really fun, meaningful charity event that I go to. And I went to their butterfly brunch as well this year, which was amazing. And then I want to learn clay. I've never done pottery before. So that and a hot air balloon ride is on my list as two kind of silly, novel things that I can add to my list that I've never done before. So I would love for you to share with me what are some of the things that are on your list for the year. Those are my epic adventures. And it really makes me feel like I always have something to look forward to, and I'm intentionally trying new things that I haven't done before. So that is what epic adventures look like. Then we have the category of epic memories, which these are big, meaningful things that are happening in your life. And when you think about them all together, it also just gives you so much freaking gratitude. When you live a grateful life, you live a happy life, right? So we had my son Evan's graduation. We had his 18th birthday. We had Ariana's 16th birthday. We had Alania's last cheer performance, her last soccer game. She did 5 sports this year, which is just insane. And moving into high school, she's going to narrow it down to 2. So we had a lot of lasts for her, which is really fun to watch her grow. And she'll be turning 14 later this month. So we have them stacked, 18, 16, 14 in the house, and then we've got 2 out of the house already. So those are just like really great memories for my heart to make sure that I could slow down for. So when I say I have luxurious amounts of time, I don't want to feel rushed in those moments. Have you ever been to an event or like something that you hosted and it just feels like it's a blur because you were so busy hosting that you didn't get to really let it sink in. That's what we do when we put these epic memories on here, is that we get to let those events sink into our heart. And those were the ones for me this year. And then epic goals. Launching my podcast is one of my first epic goals this year, and we did that in January. So that was so much fun. And then we had a fun little party afterwards. We did the Performance and Happiness Lab launch this year. And my final epic goal is to have a baby. So pray for us, y'all. We're going through IVF again after an unfortunate miscarriage that we had. So keep us in your prayers. We are trying to have a baby. And everything with everyone's epic list is unique and personal. You don't have to want what I want at all. You need to slow down and decide what you want, and I want to help you get there, right? So I'll be sharing some of these memories on LinkedIn and on the podcast a little bit as I live them out, not to brag, but to model what's possible when you prioritize what matters most. And your list can look as uniquely you as you are, but do you have a list? Are you going towards it, or are you letting life happen to you? Right? So this is what the 5% life looks like in action. Not just successful, although we are, not just busy, because we're not, but epic. So let me know if what you put on your list. I'd love to hear some of your epic adventures, epic goals, and epic memories for the year. So remember, it's not too late. You still have 6 months to design how you want to feel, create systems that protect your peace, and go after that next level role. You can lead with more calm and confidence, more intention, and it doesn't have to look like hustle. There's so much I work with my one-on-one clients on peeling back all the shit that doesn't matter. So much of it doesn't matter. And so I can help you decide what does and doesn't, and what really moves the needle and what you can let go of. That's how you get that luxurious amounts of time for the things that matter most. And it's about planning, being intentional, and saying no to so much so that it doesn't have to feel overwhelming. You can do it differently. It's rare, but it's possible. And that's what the 5%ers do. All right. So if you've been listening to this and thinking, I want to live more, I want to feel more, then I'm going to personally invite you to join us for next year's Epic Year Retreat. And this is an intimate, high-level, life-changing experience where we dream, plan, and design your next year on purpose. We take everything we talk about on this podcast and we bring it to life together in the most powerful, joyful way. Spots will be limited and they'll go quickly, but you can get on the wait list by going to ShaylaKing.com. And you will be able to join our wait list so that you're the first to know when I have one-on-one spots open, when the Performance and Happiness Lab opens, and when we do Epic Year Retreat. All right. So if this episode inspired you or helped you see your year in a new way, if you'll take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, that's our best way of getting the podcast into more leaders' hands, or forwarding it to a friend who has been in survival mode and wants to have an epic life too. And then again, you can DM me, you can share on any of my posts, but I'd love to hear what you have planned for the rest of 2025. Because you're not here just to survive it. We're not going to let life happen to us. We're going to become a 5%er and take life into our own hands. Let's go. All right. See you next time. Let's evolve together. Thanks for joining me in the 5% Club today. If you're ready to work less, make more, and design a life you love, go to ShaylaKing.com to join the 5% Club waitlist. Each Monday, I'll send you something you can implement immediately, and you'll be the first to know when applications open for the Performance and Happiness Lab, my group training program designed to accelerate you into a happy, confident executive who loves their whole life. See you there.